Oh, we are live. We are
We are
live.
live.
What a turn of events we have for today.
Yeah.
Creepy Photo says Wednesday Night Mania. Welcome back, gents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole process of today was going to be mostly NFL talk because we haven't really talked about them since 2 Sundays ago now. Looking at it, so I told Trevor I was like, "Hey, we'll mostly talk NFL." Philip Rivers returning to coaching. I mean, he should be a coach at this point, but returning to playing. Um, So we have all of that. Returns to the Colts on the practice squad as of right now, not on the main roster, but that could all change. We never really know. NFL playoffs, the Eagles, who's Trevor's team, struggling mightily. 5 turnovers from Jalen Hurts. And then, you have the Chiefs. Are they going to make the playoffs or not? You have the playoff picture of a whole. So we were going to do all that. And then I get a call from Jonathan, who's a Michigan fan. And he goes, Sherrone Moore's just been fired. And I said, dude, I said, you're lying. Like, stop the fake. And he goes, no, Adam Schefter report. I said, it's the fake Schefter account. Like, there's no way they fired him. And then I get on Twitter and, well,
Lo and behold.
Sherrone Moore has been fired for cause by Michigan after an inappropriate relationship with a Michigan staffer. That violates his contract. It goes against his contract. I have the statement from the Michigan athletic director, Ward Manuel. This is from Ward Manuel right here. head coach Sherrone Moore has been terminated with cause effective immediately following a university investigation. Credible evidence has found out that Coach Moore engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. This conduct constitutes a clear violation of university policy, and U of M maintains zero tolerance for such behavior. Biff Poggi, we all know who Biff Poggi is. He's
Yeah.
on the staff before, was the head coach of Charlotte, came back. He was the interim coach when Moore was out earlier in the year. Biff Poggi has been appointed head football coach in an interim capacity effective immediately. So, I mean, not expected, right? Moore has been the head coach at Michigan for two seasons. He went 16-8, 1-0 in the bowl games. He's been on the Michigan staff since 2018. This is one of those shocking things where nobody expected this. You maybe think, there's going 9-3 in Michigan. Can he keep his job that way? But no one's expecting him to be fired because of this. And it kind of comes out that he's been fired. Here's Jonathan. Sad day. I think the unexpectancy of this firing is what is the craziest part. Supposedly there's been people that have known about this for a while. So I was watching, I did watch a Michigan YouTube live as soon as it kind of happened. Those guys have said that people have known about it for a while. If the university allegedly knew about it for a while and didn't do anything, then Sherrone could go after the university. I don't know if that's true. I'm sure Michigan had their evidence today and got what they needed to and did what they want to do, and they went after it, and they did it the right way, I'm sure. Michigan, of course, they're not just going to, know about it and keep him on the staff. I wouldn't think, but you never know. But, I mean, there's a lot of rumors going around about the situation, about kind of what's happened. When it's come to this and kind of the situation around it. Won't go too much into that with detail.
Because we don't want to be sued.
Well, I don't want to be sued, but I don't know how true it really is.
Yeah.
You don't really know. We have what Michigan has, and that was an inappropriate relationship with a Michigan staff member. So that's what we have to go off of. All the other stuff is kind of speculative and alleged, and at the end of the day, still, I get Sherrone Moore as a public figure. It's still, some private life stuff. You know what I mean? This is one of those things that, yes, these are people in the public eye and at a public university like Michigan in such high looked and high regard. But at the end of the day, he's still a human being. Still, just personal stuff goes on, happens, behind the scenes. So I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things that is when you look at it, you didn't expect. We've had it. This has been one of the crazier coaching carousels we've had in the history of college football.
Yeah.
And the Michigan job coming open was not a thought we thought would be open this year, and now it is. Trevor, I'll ask you, what were your first reactions when you saw or heard about this?
Well, so my initial reaction, because I didn't see the for cause thing. So
Yeah,
my initial reaction is that like, wow, this is really late. And maybe not late in a normal sense of like a maybe an average season, but like we've seen all season, these firings have happened so early that I felt like if this was like a performance thing that they fired him late, and there's a lot of people already off the board for coaches.
yeah.
But then we find out for the for cause thing, and that's kind of its own thing. And like you said, we don't need to go into it too much. But what I do think is that this is really crazy because this is a high level job. Um, this could be a top 10, top whatever job in the country if you get the right pieces together. So, I mean, you see, Michigan won a natty not that long ago. So, um, this is really interesting. Like we sat here talking about LSU and Florida, and this is up there. It's not bigger than an LSU job, I'd say.
I think it's right there with it. It's as big because
Okay.
they've won a national championship more recently.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would put it up there with just based off of that.
Yeah.
Before that, maybe you put it a little bit under.
Yeah.
It's definitely the second biggest job in the Big Ten, or right up there with Ohio
Yeah.
State. It's bigger than
Yeah.
Penn State's job.
Yeah.
That's for sure. There's people that will listen to this job that maybe were not fully entertained on the Penn State job.
Yeah.
Um, but the only thing with Michigan is sometimes academic stuff can keep you from getting certain kids. There's been things in certain sports. I know Caleb Love was at North Carolina, tried to get into Michigan, wasn't able to. So then he ended up going to Arizona. I know Michigan is similar to Notre Dame, where they look for either a freshman transfer or a grad transfer. They'll take guys in the middle, but it's a little bit harder for them to get people in with academic stuff. But no, I mean, it is a top 10 premier job now open
Yeah.
in college football.
And that's just. I mean, aside from the rumor, the gossip stuff, this is what my biggest takeaway from it. And I think it's going to decide. I know Jonathan just said sad, sad day, but this could be. I know this is kind of messed up. It could be a very good day for Michigan fans.
Yeah.
Because if you land, I mean, and I know you have planned some coaches for the job, so we can go through that in a second. But I mean, if you get a guy who's just the right fit, that's good at developing players, that's good at recruiting, this can be amazing for Michigan, and it can be something that really turns the tide against. Like the new steam that Indiana has, and Ohio State is still rolling, and we have Oregon now and USC. I mean, not that Michigan wasn't competing, but this can really put you ahead. I would say with the right person.
Well, you're also taking over a Michigan, not like the Michigan program Jim Harbaugh took over in 2014. You are taking over a Michigan program that just went 9-3. As of right now, you have Bryce Underwood, who was a #1 recruit last year's class. A very good class coming in this year. It's a very young team. I mean, it's a difference of what you're taking over. It's not like you have to rebuild. You just have to, improve and get in what you want to do. And most people thought even under Sherrone they were going to improve next year, based off as Trevor is trying to figure out his chair situation.
Sorry, my water bottle.
Let's get into some comments here. So Jonathan, got to keep it. Yeah, I mean,
you got to, man.
You have to, clearly. John Harbaugh or bust. So we'll get into that. Marcus Freeman to Michigan. It's funny how Michigan fans now want Marcus Freeman, although they've dragged his name through the mud and the program through the mud the last couple of days. It's a glorious day to make fun of you. I don't know who he's making fun of. I think he's making fun of Michigan. I am not a Michigan fan. I'm a Notre Dame fan, but this is something that is just it's just wild that this happened. John Gruden or John Harbaugh?
I would. You know how I feel about John Gruden, kid.
So, okay, I'll talk about. Let's read this. Marcus Freeman's very happy. Hopefully. Don't nobody want Marcus? Yeah. Here's the thing. Michigan people are not going to want Marcus Freeman. Ohio State, Notre Dame. That he's a great coach, but if you're going to look at a Michigan, I don't think Michigan would want him. I don't think Michigan would entertain that.
I don't think he would want it.
I don't think he'd want it either.
Obviously, for the right price, anybody will do it. But
yeah, but to me, if he wasn't so tied to the Ohio State background and tied to Notre Dame, maybe you never look at it. I will start with the John Gruden stuff. So Here's my thing with the John Gruden stuff, and this is where the other school just down the road in the state of Michigan kind of had to do this year. You are a program in Michigan that you had the sign stealing stuff that happened, that kind of debacle around that. Jim Harbaugh leaves to go to the NFL. Some to say because he won a national title, go win a Super Bowl. Others would argue to get away from potentially what could ever happen or what was going to happen to him potentially if he would have stayed. And now you have this. So you need to get a guy that doesn't really have a fuzzy background. You need somebody that can kind of come in and withhold and reset the standard for what a Michigan head coach would be. John Gruden was fired from the Raiders because of some inappropriate emails and different exchanges. So yes, John Gruden would be a great coach, but for the Michigan situation, I don't think you can go down that path.
I
I,
agree.
it's just as much as it would be great, and as much as I think he'd do great at Michigan if he was the head coach, and as much as he probably wants it, you just can't take that risk if you're Michigan. This is your one chance to kind of reset, rebuild the program. This also may show that you may move on from the Jim Harbaugh era of Michigan, and you might be in a different time. Now, will they maybe try and get somebody that was on the staff before or that kind of thing? Maybe, but I just the John Gruden stuff is like, yeah, it's a great thought of like he wants to maybe get back, he wants to get in back into coaching, maybe college. Michigan's a premier program. He's a big name, hot name. I just don't think you can let it fly from the background perspective of everything. I know he's still ongoing against the NFL with certain things about it. Um, but it did happen. There's no like it did or didn't happen. I mean, what he got fired for did happen. His cause and reasoning for it is what he's kind of arguing. So I think that would be the argument against John Harbaugh for Michigan is you kind of need to you got past the sign stealing thing, you think you were smooth, you thought you were good, and now you have this, and it's kind of like you have to reset and you have to redefine certain criteria for what you want in a head coach and what you want to build on top of. So I think that would be the argument against John Gruden for the job. As Jonathan says, Gruden's going to have us feeling nicey. As much as he would, you kind of have to go away from that. The other name I'll bring up is John Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh's brother with the Ravens. Of course, the Ravens head coach been there a long time, won a Super Bowl. It's not looking too good in Baltimore, where maybe everybody's saying maybe it's time for him not to get fired, but maybe have a break, maybe get away, maybe take some time. John Harbaugh is I don't think he went to Michigan like Jim, but he's just as much of a Michigan man as Jim Harbaugh is. Trevor, can you look that up?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
He grew up in the same house as Jim Harbaugh. Pretty sure they have the same father. They do, and Jack Harbaugh. John's been there many times when Jim was the coach. They have the memories of Michigan football. That is a fact.
He was a defensive back at Miami of Ohio.
So Miami of Ohio. So Midwestern background, of course. I want to say his dad may have been in the staff then. I don't know, but he has the same memories of Michigan that Jim has when it comes to being a kid. So he probably views this head coaching job in college football as big as it can get. So he's a name you definitely throw out there. You look at it. It's just going to be the timing with the thing with this is it's going to be the timing just based off the transfer portal and all of that. Because you wouldn't be able to get John Harbaugh till about mid-January. And so that would be the big thing. If he leaves the Ravens, you never know. But I think that's a call you make. I just don't know how if you were to hire him. I don't know if you can announce he's going to be the coach and the Ravens are going to allow them be like the Lane Kiffin thing.
Right.
Because the Ravens are still in it, even though they lost Sunday, they're still in it potentially, to win the division, all that. So I don't know how that would work. Recruiting wise, I don't know how that would work because you can't legally or not supposed to, but what are rules in college football? You're not supposed to contact kids on Michigan's team right now, but I'm sure there are people that are. There's sure people that were reforced from or was fired.
Right.
So you go there. So John Harbaugh, I think, you make the call. When Brian Kelly left Notre Dame, I wanted John Harbaugh to be the Notre Dame coach.
Yeah. And I think too, a lot of the same names that were being thrown around for the Penn State job are probably going to be reiterated for the Michigan job. thinking specifically, I've seen. I don't know how likely this is. It's probably not very likely, but I've seen Kalen DeBoer
Yeah.
being thrown around. That's interesting. I saw Washington's coach being thrown around.
I think Jed Fish used to be an assistant on Michigan staff.
Yeah,
Look that up real quick.
I think I saw the Chargers OC.
DC, DC.
DC. Okay.
All right, so I'll get into that. So that is Jesse Minter, who was
Yeah.
the defensive coordinator at Michigan before he left with Jim Harbaugh to go to the Chargers with Jim. So Jesse Minter, as of right now, this is yet again the NFL thing where it's kind of you wouldn't get him to potentially could be later on in February if the Chargers continue to roll.
Yeah.
But Jesse Minter has a show clause from the NCAA that goes until April of 2026. And this is not from the sign sealing stuff, but this is from a recruiting violation. So technically, he can't be hired by any college team until technically April of 2026 to be a coach. Now, if they really wanted him, they could hire him as like, the a teacher.
Yeah.
Until April, and you know what I mean. They could do something like that. But the other thing with Jesse Minter is, if you come back to college, do they go after you for leaving college and fleeing college?
Yeah, that's going to be some uncharted waters there.
And then the other thing with Jesse Minter is potentially he could get a head coaching job in the NFL.
Yeah.
So do you want a head coaching job in the NFL or do you want to deal with college football?
Yeah.
Deal with the new age of college football and then also deal with potentially you go back.
Yeah.
You could be, something could happen to you. Or you know what I mean? They could try and go after you.
Yeah.
So that kind of hurts the Jesse Minter stuff. Even though, like, he'd be great, I think. Like, that would be somebody you go after.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, okay, like, we could get you. Maybe if they didn't have the show clause thing, I could probably see he's probably number one on the list. And I would assume Jim would probably let him still be the DC and coach Michigan as long as it didn't interfere with this.
Right.
Because basically all at Michigan, you have to assemble a staff and recruit.
Yep.
And I'm sure he'd probably keep the staff somewhat the same.
Yeah.
So that kind of shuts that one down. Jed Fish, who was the head coach of Washington, who's another name in this thing, was at Michigan from 2015 to 2016 under Jim Harbaugh. So he has coached at Michigan. Jed Fish is a well-regarded coach. When it comes to college football, he was at Arizona for a couple of years, then went to take the Washington job because they were going to the Big Ten and all of that. And so that could potentially be a name to be open.
I think I don't know why, but it's just kind of a gut feeling. I think that might be the most likely scenario.
Jed Fish.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be a bad. Here's the other thing I will say. That potentially Michigan's already kind of looked into who they kind of want, and so they could have who they wanted or who they want already kind of picked out and maybe somewhat done.
Yeah. It's so crazy because I think the timing is so bad.
It's just, yeah. I mean,
because JMU coach gone, both of Oregon's coordinators gone, Tulane coach gone. It's just like everything, the dominoes have basically all fallen. And then we have, potentially the biggest one of them all after everything is basically said and done. I mean, LSU has a coach, Florida has a coach,
Yeah.
Cal has all these places.
Yeah, I mean it changes a lot. So Johnson said, who else played at Miami? I was talking about John Gruden there again with the
okay.
Said also Minter does not have a show call. So I just looked it up. This was April 20th of this year. There was a show clause for former Michigan coaches Jesse Minter and Steve Clinkscale, I think is me. I'm probably botching his name. So he does have a show clause that runs a year for 1 year. Received a 1 year show clause. The former secondary coach received a 2 year show clause. Both are with Jim Harbaugh at the Chargers. So there's a show clause.
There you go, Jonathan.
So yeah, I mean you have Kalen DeBoer's kind of name's been floated out there, Alabama's coach.
I don't get that one.
I
I
think
do you
because
think that he hates the SEC that much?
I don't think it's the SEC. It's probably the Alabama job. I
Okay.
think he maybe looks at it and says, "Man, I had it pretty good at Washington. I come to
Mhm.
Alabama, I lose one game, and the lady wants to fire me when if she wins the lotto."
Yeah, I just
So I mean, he said that the Penn State stuff was nothing. There was no communication, none of that. He is, I think, from like South Dakota, so he has Midwestern backgrounds. If you're a Midwest guy and you want to say, "Hey, I can go back to the Midwest," this Alabama thing is it's kind of tough. I can go to Michigan, maybe,
yeah,
maybe you
I
do it.
mean, I would probably do it because it's like, hey, you go 9-3 and no one wants to buy out your contract.
Well, yeah, I mean, potentially. I mean, the problem is though, like Sherrone Moore is like 9-3. Hey, we're giving you a chance to kind of build this program, kind of work it out. Kalen DeBoer comes in, goes 9-3. He's back in the same thing he was at Alabama because we
Right.
poached you from Alabama, gave you all the money in the world. We're going to come after you. Jonathan says he was talking about Bo Schembechler. Oh, there you go, another Miami of Ohio guy. You never know. So you have Kalen DeBoer, Jed Fish potentially. Another name which I don't know if it came up in the Penn State stuff or it came up in really any other job, but Kenny Dillingham, Arizona State's coach.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think that he is probably one of the best coaches in the country, and I think that he would be a great hire for Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like that when it was brought up because you look at it like his turnaround at Arizona State was is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
He's 22-16 overall as a coach. Made it to the playoff last year when they were supposed to finish like 15th or something in the Big 12. They were not supposed to be very good. Takes them on this run. They do well in the playoff game, almost beating Texas to move
Yeah.
on. So yeah, he's done well. So yeah, his first year at Arizona State, he was 3-9. Program was not in good shape at all. Second year, 11-3, and then went 8-4 this year. Had injuries with the quarterback. Supposedly, his quarterback Sam Levitt may be leaving the program.
Mm.
So he's an interesting name. I think you look at because it's like now he has Arizona ties. He's from Arizona. He went to school at Arizona State, so he has all that. But if you just say, "Hey, you can be the head coach of Michigan," I mean that's pretty hard to pass up.
Do you want to know who my first person in my head was when this happened?
Yeah, I'll give you my. You say yours, and I'll give you mine.
Okay, Brian Dabble,
Brian Dayball.
Dayball. Yeah,
I mean,
that was the first person that came to mind. I could see him right now in Michigan. Get up, dude.
he was supposedly going to be maybe the option at Penn State. Um, if it wouldn't have worked out, maybe with Matt Campbell. He could have maybe have been in considerations for the job when it comes to it. I'm trying to see if there's any odds on the Michigan coaching thing. Um, so there is some odds. Jed Fish is the leader right now at plus 450. Kalen DeBoer's plus 475.
Really? That is crazy.
Marcus Freeman's plus 700.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Jesse Minter's plus 1100. Biff Poggi's also plus 1100. Lincoln Riley's name is in here. Joe
I think
Brady.
that's stupid. Oh, Joe Brady. Joe Brady was the second person I thought of.
Joe Brady's plus 1500. Brian Kelly is plus 2500.
Jonathan, what do you would you be happy with Brian Kelly coming to Michigan? You probably already know the answer, but I want to.
I mean, look, he so Michigan is a different job compared to some of these other jobs because of some of the academic stuff.
Yeah.
But you got unlimited money. Larry Ellison's going to do anything to please his wife. So he's going to spend as much money as possible. You have a great alumni base. You have one of the biggest fixtures in the sport, Michigan, the big house, everything about it. As much as I dislike Michigan, and I do, you have to respect what they have when it comes to a head coach and what they have as a brand. There's no doubt about it. One of the top 5 to 10 biggest in college football. Being the Michigan head coach should mean something.
Yeah.
It should, without a doubt. Brian Kelly knows how to win. At a school like Notre Dame was very successful. It would be very similar. I mean, you may not always win the big game. You may not beat Ohio State every year, but you may win 10 games. So that would be interesting. John Gruden's on the list. Dan Lanning is plus 5,000.
I
Kurt
know
Cignetti's
what I'm
plus
doing.
5,000.
That can't even, is that even possible?
This is bookies.com. I don't know how true. This is one of those things where they just kind of throw names out there.
Yeah.
When you look at it and everything. So the name that I immediately came to my head, and I thought this would be a home run hire. David Shaw, the former Stanford coach.
Okay.
David Shaw is currently with the Lions. He was Stanford coach for a long, took over for Jim Harbaugh when Jim Harbaugh left Stanford to go to the 49ers. Kept that thing rolling for a little bit. It got tougher towards the end, but he got so much out of Stanford. And look what Stanford is now that he's gone.
Yeah.
They're a mess. He's now with the Lions. He's only 53. I looked it up. To me, that's the guy. I don't even question it. I go and offer him $10 million a year, and I say, hey, you can deal with the academics part of it.
Yeah.
You can get the right guys you want, and then we're also going to give you the chance to now you have these unlimited resources to do
Yeah.
anything and everything.
Yeah. That
You've,
I like
you've
that
been in
too.
Michigan. You don't have to go and poach another head coach. You don't have to worry about a buyout. Even though what's nice about firing Sherrone for cause is
You don't have to pay the
you
buyout,
don't have to
right?
worry about all that. You kind of have your resources are you can expand your resources before what you had. I mean, if Marcus Freeman were to leave Notre Dame, which I don't want him to, but if he were, I'm Notre Dame. I call David Shaw.
Mm.
Like it would not even be a question to me. I mean, David Shaw is a legit coach.
Yeah, I like that one.
You give him, he stepped away, went into the NFL, kind of has some new thoughts about maybe some things. You take him to Michigan, he's winning 10 games, and you're winning Big Ten championships.
Hey, that's music to any Michigan fan's ear.
I mean, to me, that's who I hire.
That's a good. I like it. You've sold me.
I mean, that's who I would want. Luke Oxy's chiming in here. Bad troll. I'm serious. Why would you not want David Shaw? I mean, the fact that they're overlooking David Shaw as Michigan fans is ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're gonna overlook him, but be fine with Sherrone Moore, I mean, he did great at Michigan, but I mean, was he that impressive? I would say probably not.
No.
I know the
And
team is
probably going
pretty
into
young.
next year, he probably would have been on the hot seat.
Yeah, I would say that's. I mean, yeah, I would say so. I mean, this is. I mean, the timing is just terrible. The timing to me. I mean, I mean, and maybe it's not because like we've just sat here and named a bunch of people who aren't necessarily like the most.
Has to be a Michigan. Who is the Michigan man that you're going to go get?
Kid Rock.
Kid Rock to be that coach.
Yeah.
To me, I just feel like David Shaw is the guy you call.
I like it. You've sold me.
I've seen what he did against Notre Dame for many years at Stanford. Did very well against Notre Dame. I mean, it's just the guy I call. I think it would be a great hire.
And this is so funny too because it's like right at the time of like Michigan fans giving Notre Dame fans a bunch of crap about the college football playoff, and then for like this to happen, it's like okay, now we're both suffering.
Yeah, I mean, John Harbaugh. Yeah, John Harbaugh would be great, but it messes like how much does he want to? Here's the other deal too. It's when it comes to being coaches, these NFL guys look at colleges. I never want to go there. Mike Tomlin years ago said it was a joke that his thought process was discussed in a college job.
Yeah.
They view the NFL as up here. You only get 32 of these jobs.
Yeah. And I think too, it's like it's way more work.
Yeah, and there's no rules. At least in the NFL, you have rules of like, hey, this is the time period you can discuss. This is it. You get to go to the draft, get who you want. There's no argument on if he's going to come play for you after his first year. He's there under his contract.
Right. Yeah, this is crazy.
All right, so David Shaw's 53 years old.
Hmm.
So still, I mean, still fairly young. I think Lane Kiffin is like 50 now. So if you think about it, um, David Shaw as a head coach is 96 and 54, 5-3 in bowl games. He took Stanford 11 and 2, 12 and 2, 11 and 3, 8 and 5, 12 and 2, 10 and 3, 9 and 5, 9 and 4, and then it kind of went off the rails the last couple of seasons. But he kept Stanford afloat pretty good. He won the Rose Bowl twice, made it to the Rose Bowl 3 times. Had a lot of NFL talent in there. I think if we don't remember, uh, guys like Zach Ernst, Andrew Luck, Christian McCaffrey, Solomon Thomas. I mean, he fits. I mean, I don't understand why David Shaw doesn't have a job, and it could be David Shaw doesn't want to have a job, but to me, I'm like, why would you not if you're David Shaw? Want to get a job. So here's the other wrinkle too for Michigan. And for the people that just joined us, of course, we are talking about Sherrone Moore being fired by Michigan for cause after an inappropriate relationship with a Michigan staff member that violated his contract. Moore was 16-8 at Michigan in 2 seasons, 1-0 in bowls. He'd been on the staff since 2018. Biff Poggi is now the interim. We'd like to hear from people that are watching in the comments. Tell us what you think, who you think they should hire. I think another interesting wrinkle too is a guy that was talked about if Michigan were to get rid of Jim Harbaugh after the COVID year, when they were not very happy there in Ann Arbor, and that was a fact. They want to forget that now after they won a national title. There were people that wanted him gone. Matt Campbell was a name back then that was talked about. Well, Matt Campbell, and I think the first guy that they would hire, if they would have made the phone call already. He's now at Penn State.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I keep saying this. It's like it's already all done. It's all done. Like LSU's got a coach. Florida's got a coach.
Well, it's never done for the right price or the right way.
I just think that the newest, hottest coaches, the big names, they're gone. They're all gone. Everything's
well, I also think too is so 2 teams in the Big Ten had openings. One we didn't expect to be open. One was the first one open. So that would be Penn State and then Michigan State, one of Michigan's rivals. Both the guys that were hired for those jobs, I think, would have been the first calls for Michigan.
Yeah, I agree.
In Pat Fitzgerald and Matt Campbell.
Yeah.
So the guys you really would have wanted and really would have fit are now at 2 schools you're going to have to play against.
Yep.
And now you're sitting there with no coach. I think they have an idea. I think this will move very quickly in today's day and age. I think they've done their due diligence with the investigation. I think they did their due diligence with we're going to fire him for cause. So then we're going to, have moving parts. I think this will be very quickly. The longer it waits, the more it's likely somebody from the NFL or maybe somebody who's still in the playoff potentially. But I think it's going to move very quickly. I think there's ongoing talks when you look at different things. Another name I think is interesting is Manny Diaz at Duke, who was kind of in the discussion for the Penn State job. I think would be a good potential hire when you look at it and everything. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. Nolan says I have no idea. Jaden says get Ryan Day. That'll never happen. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those crazy things that, Michigan is now searching for a head coach December 10th, and the transfer portal, I think, opens in like a week.
Oh, man. Just when this college football season couldn't get any crazier. This has been full of drama. Caleb, we're almost in the dog days again. We need to take a second and sit back and reflect on what we have. Still, we still got quite a bit of football left, but
no, I know. It's just that, everything that's like, oh my gosh, we have this crazy coaching carousel, what does it do? What happens?
Yeah.
And now you have maybe the biggest job open up of all the jobs. Every job that opened up, we're like, is that the biggest job? No, that's the biggest job. LSU opens up, you're like, that's the biggest job. Michigan opens up, and you're like, for the North, that is the top 3 job in the North. Yeah, for the Midwest, that's the top. That's a top 3 job in the Midwest. If you do it regionally, Your top three jobs in the Midwest are Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Those are your top three. And then you go down south, it's LSU, Bama, Georgia, and Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go out west, USC, kind of it. Maybe you include
Or you could
Oklahoma,
do Oregon.
Oregon, and then maybe Oklahoma, Florida State are on the like
Yeah,
teeter.
yeah, yeah. That
But for the Midwest schools, this is a top three job.
and that's what my thought process. It was like to me, it's like we're the it's like the LSU of the Big Ten. You know what I mean? Like it's like maybe some see. I wouldn't say that Michigan underperformed this year. I think they did about as
They with
as
what
good
they
as
had for
yeah.
being so young, I thought they'd go like 8-4, 9-3. They did that. I mean, they did exactly what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a rebuild year to then get ready for next year.
Yeah. So I think with LSU they failed a little bit more dramatically. So that was, but I thought it was similar. It's like they didn't knock anybody out of the water with how they played, and then this firing happens again. There's firings for two very different reasons,
Yep.
but those jobs being open to me felt very similar to one another. And I'm not saying that. I mean we're in the north, so we can say it. No, but
Yeah.
I don't think that I personally think LSU is probably a better job just because of like recruiting wise. Um, you know, uh, Michigan shares a lot of territory. I feel like with some. I mean, we landed Bryce Underwood. He's a Michigan guy, so that was awesome. But like Ohio State, Penn State, like all that's Notre Dame, like that stuff can get a little tricky. LSU, if you're good at football and you live in Louisiana, you're going to LSU. So I think maybe recruiting wise, they get a little bit more talent, I would say, than Michigan. But I mean, Michigan does very well nationwide, but even like in the Midwest, they do very well recruiting. So those were just two parallels that I saw when this first happened. But I would say like this is to me this is on par with like a Florida job. I would say that those two are like almost identical to me. With Florida with the state of the program right now.
Yeah. Well,
Florida 10 years ago would be a little different.
I think the why I view Michigan such as a highly job is they were able to win a national title literally 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And that to me puts you up big time for like a big job. It's
Yeah.
like you can win it. Jim Harbaugh proved you can win it. Now, Jim is the perfect fit for Michigan,
Yeah.
being he is Michigan's football program.
Yeah.
I said it to begin with. When he left, you kind of lost part of your program. He is Michigan football. If you think of Bo Schembechler, you think of Jim Harbaugh, and then you think of Charles and Desmond. You go down the list, but Jim is up there when you think of
Yeah.
Michigan football. He's a Michigan. Everything about Jim. He has established a program. Sherrone Moore continued on that development of the Jim Harbaugh ways of being physical up front, running the ball. He was continuing that formula. So it's you say, well, Jim's an outlier to win at Michigan. Well, I don't think so. I think Jim is Jim. He was going to win probably wherever, and he proved you can win at Michigan. I mean, it's that plain and simple. Michigan has won more recently than LSU, and as I smirk here, we do have a Michigan fan coming on. I'm glad he's coming on. John says, "Don't hate Manny Diaz." We will now bring him in, the Michigan fan
Hello,
himself.
gentlemen.
Look.
Hello.
Luke Cox has now joined us.
Happy to be here for the first time. Wish it was under some better circumstances, but what are you gonna do?
No, Luke, we appreciate you coming on. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on this whole thing. I'll start with when it first happened. What did you think? Because for me, when Jonathan called me, I thought it was fake. So, what were
Yeah.
your first thoughts?
When it was funny, I was actually at work doing a soccer class, and my coworker comes onto the field and pulls me to the side. I think I didn't know what to think. I'm like, oh shoot, somebody died or something. But no, he just wanted to tell me Sherrone Moore was fired. So, this came out. There were rumblings about something like this happening a couple weeks ago. The national reporters for Michigan kind of, shot all this down, said, this isn't true. So it quickly, everybody just kind of stopped talking about it. So when I got told today, I knew it was not, for performance. I knew exactly what it was for. So I wouldn't say I was shocked, but I think I was just a little bit more surprised at the timing of it.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing is now it's kind of like you feel like you have to act somewhat quickly, to maybe retain the roster. I think at Michigan it's going to be a lot easier to retain the roster just based on NIL stuff when you look at it. But what was your thoughts on Sherrone Moore before this? Were you kind of like
You
keep
know,
keep giving him a chance
it
or
was
what?
tough because I wasn't a huge fan of Sherrone, but at the same time, you get a lot of Michigan fans who, wanted him fired after his first season. Not a lot of patience, which I can understand. Uh, you know, Overall, I'm not too upset. I couldn't see him making it another 2 years at Michigan. I think going into next season, it would have been the season where he had to have done something. You can't go at a school like Michigan. You can't go 3 straight seasons not making a 12-team playoff and expect to keep your job. So, you know, if you watched Michigan football, you knew he had some serious in-game coaching problems. Overall, though, I think he had the intangibles to be a great coach. I think he was a great recruiter. The players really seemed to like him. He seemed to be a good leader. Going in after Harbaugh left, guys like Will Johnson and Colston Loveland and Mason Graham, they could have gone somewhere else, got paid a lot of money to go to another university, and they decided to stay. So, that tells me a lot of what, the players thought of Sherrone.
Do you think that this is like an outlier for Michigan and they can easily move past this and kind of just say this is not who we are? Or do you think that this will maybe open the door for more people to kind of maybe question some things like within the university or maybe some other things?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's obviously going to be people questioning it, and rightfully so. You know, it's just incredibly stupid on Sherrone's part because not only did he lose his job and lose a lot of money, but he also lost his family because of this. So overall, yeah, it's just incredibly stupid. I think now though, being the University of Michigan, you got to say, okay, no more first year head coaches. You got to go out and make a splash. And, for me, there's a couple of names that come to mind who I think they're going to look at and would be serious candidates. But it's going to be exciting. I know the transfer portal, I believe, opens January 2nd. So I believe I'm hoping so that they're going to make a new hiring here pretty soon. But right now, we're just going to have to wait and see. Right now, it's just a lot of rumors. And so we'll have to see. But
Luke, in your wildest dreams, who do you guys land?
my wildest dreams, and I wouldn't even say wildest dreams because I think it is a realistic name, but I think Kalen DeBoer would be one you're going to have to look at. To me, he just doesn't seem like an SEC coach. He finished 9-4 last season. He's 9-3 right now.
Lost to Michigan.
Yeah, and the expectations at Alabama, especially coming right off of Saban, they're incredibly high. We saw what he did at Washington. I think he's an incredible coach. I wouldn't understand why any Michigan fans. I'm talking to a few who don't want DeBoer, but I think DeBoer would be an incredible hire. The more realistic hire for me would probably be a guy like Jed Fish at Washington. He was Michigan's special teams coach in 2015 in Harbaugh's first season. He left to become I believe, the passing game coordinator, wide receivers coach at UCLA. But, we saw what he did at a school like Arizona. Who hadn't been relevant in football in years, right? They were coming off those Rich Rod years, similar to like Michigan, but they were coming off those Rich Rod years, and he came in there, and I think he won 10 games, and he was beating Arizona State, and he, completely turned around that program. He's doing so right now at Washington, but I think he would be a great hire for Michigan. He's got Michigan ties. I think he's a good recruiter, and I think he'd bring a lot of talent over from Washington as well.
I mean, they're also guys you're talking about offensive minds too. Maybe that helps your quarterback out a little bit.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they did because going forward with the offense because, hiring Sherrone was kind of like, okay, you lose Harbaugh, but you kind of keep that same identity under Sherrone where you're going to be this run first physical team. Well, now you got a quarterback like Bryce Underwood. So, who we know is extremely talented, extremely athletic. And he only threw, I believe, 9 passing touchdowns this season, which was the exact same as 2023 Iowa. That's unacceptable for a quarterback of that level. So I'm just hoping they can, get somebody who's going to, come in, bring in his own guys, get a passing game coordinator and a good QB coach, which is something Michigan has not had these last 2 seasons, and just kind of, I wouldn't go away from your identity of being a run first team, but you do need to free up Bryce a little bit more.
So we have some comment. Loving the insider aspect, Luke.
Thank you, Nolan.
here.
Thank you.
Jonathan says no Jed.
I'm going to disagree.
And he said Bryce stays. So I think kind of okay. So I kind of think that they probably have a great idea of who they want now. I think they've done their due diligence. And I think that Michigan's one of those schools where you don't always go there because of the coach. I know in today's day and age, we say, oh, it's not about the school. Michigan's one of those schools where you go because you want to play at Michigan 1, and the benefits of playing at Michigan are going to outweigh other schools. So what is your take? I don't think he leaves, but what are your thoughts on that?
You mean on Bryce? Or
yeah, right.
I personally don't see him leaving. I think what a lot of people don't understand is they think he only came to Michigan for the money, right? Growing up, Michigan was his dream school. And obviously he committed to LSU because they paid him more money, right? Michigan matches it, offers him a little bit more. He comes to Michigan. Like I personally just don't see him leaving. He seems to have a really good relationship with his teammates, with his wide receivers. He has a guy like Andrew Marsh now, where he has an actual wide receiver to throw to, which is something Michigan hasn't had for the last couple of seasons. But I personally can't see him leaving. I think if there are any talks about it, I think boosters will get in there immediately and kind of say, hold on now, like just wait, see who we hire, see what we can do in the offseason, see who we can bring in the portal, and just go from there. But yeah, I personally do not see him going anywhere.
Well, I saw a thing that maybe his NIL deal is maybe a little different at Michigan. Maybe it ties him to Michigan a little bit longer than just a 1-year deal, maybe. So that could play into some of it too. Sweet baby cheese it says hell no on Jed and Kalen. John says Bryce didn't want to come because we didn't recruit him until the last minute.
That is true. Jim Harbaugh never really went after Bryce. I don't think Jim Harbaugh was big in playing the NIL game, but
and Jim wasn't going to be there either. So
no,
I mean,
100%. And if Jim did stay for another season, JJ would have stayed for another season. So they would have had a QB regardless. But I'm seeing a couple people in the chat right now saying no to Kalen and Jed. I would love to hear some realistic options from them. But I think I can understand Jed Fish, but I think Kalen would be an incredible hire for Michigan.
You didn't like my David Shaw. I think that's a home run. He's only 53. Are you kidding me?
Man, this is Michigan. You're not hiring David Shaw. I'm sorry.
He's a proven head coach. That's what you said you wanted. We need a proven head coach. The guy's won 10, 12 games.
Why is he not coaching right now? Why is no one hiring?
Because he stepped down at Stanford. Maybe he doesn't want to be the coach. But if I'm Michigan, I'm calling. He's in it. He's in Detroit right now. I'm calling the guy. I don't understand.
And I would get somebody a little bit more recently proven, but that's just me personally. I'd be interested to see. You brought up a great point.
He coached Andrew Luck. He can coach Bryce Underwood.
Yeah. Well, Jim Harbaugh was coaching Andrew Luck
for a year, and then he left him.
He's the David Shaw is what he is. Come on now. But no, I think you brought up a great point. I think they do kind of have a good idea of who they want. Like I said, the investigation they reported, they started investigating this in November. I actually heard something very interesting that this staffer who he got pregnant, she was using her staff email.
Allegedly.
Okay, yeah, let me add that. She was allegedly using her staff email to send out baby shower invites. So don't know how true that is. Don't know if it was just a Twitter troll, but I was like, okay.
This is college football at its finest. So we brought up Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State. What would be your thoughts on that one?
I don't think it would be a bad hire. I just personally don't think it would make a lot of sense for Michigan. Yeah, I just can't see him at a school like Michigan personally. He seems to me like another Southern guy. If he did come to Michigan, I think he'd bring a lot of talent. But I also don't think he's completely proven yet either. Like a guy like DeBoer or Jed are, but
Yeah.
I personally don't see it happening. Like I said, I think they probably have a pretty good idea of who they want. Because right now, isn't there? There's rumblings of Dillingham somewhere else. Somewhere in the SEC, right?
There's there's always stuff about him out there. You know what I mean? I think he was maybe brought up in the Penn State stuff and
Right.
some other things. All right, so I agree. I think Jed Fish is probably going to end up being the guy. I just think it makes sense. I'm sure Jim Harbaugh. They called Jim and asked Jim, and Jim's like, Jed's probably your guy. I like Jed. He's very respected. A lot of NFL background. He understands a lot of things. He's the best for Bryce Underwood, in my opinion. When you look at it. So if you can't get, I think they're going to swing for Kalen DeBoer. Penn State did, and it didn't really work out. I think Michigan will probably try and swing. It's a bigger job than Penn State. Penn State fans can cry about that, but that's a fact. So they try to get him, Kalen DeBoer, Jed Fish. If they can't get those two, who's your third option here?
That's where I think you kind of start looking more in the NFL, taking some shots there. I don't see it being John Harbaugh. I don't think he'd leave.
Could be too old.
Too old. I agree. I would like a young, like a Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know how much longer he's going to be over in Washington. I mean, that would be. You want to talk about elevating the offense? I think a guy like that would do it. But yeah, I mean, after those two, like I said, I think it'd be very hard if they did offer Jed the job for him to turn it down. I could see DeBoer doing it. I could not see Jed, but that's my personal opinion. I mean, outside of that, I mean, it's just so fresh still. So, you're kind of still, looking through, seeing what other names are available. I mean, I don't think the names in this recent coaching, hires, these last couple of ones, any of them made too much sense for Michigan. I don't think a guy like Matt Campbell or Pat Fitzgerald. Obviously, Lane Kiffin would never come to Michigan, but yeah, I think you got to look at some guys who do have some ties to Michigan, like Jed Fish. But we'll just have to see. I think a name is going to be announced here pretty soon, within a month, I would say. But I mean, just with the portal opening up, I think it's really important. You're talking about DeBoer too. It almost makes me wish Notre Dame did get in over Alabama, just so they could wrap this up and just see if he'll say yes or no.
But here's the other thing. It just came to my mind real quick. Is John Scott? It's going to be someone from.
I could see it. I could see it.
My thing is, so this is just where the state of maybe Michigan football is outside of maybe Lloyd Carr and Jim Harbaugh. Do you think that, you had Lloyd Carr, great success, national championship, Rose Bowl in 2005, does all that. Then you get Rich Rod, didn't work out. What was his name came next?
Brady Hoke.
Brady Hoke came next,
Yep.
And then Jim came. And then you had Sherrone. Are you worried about maybe it not working out if they hired somebody? But do you think Michigan's brand is where it's at now, proven, hey, we won a national championship 2 years ago, we can continue on the success?
Yeah, especially in the era of the 12-team playoff and an NIL, I don't see why there isn't any reason they couldn't. I think the amount of money Michigan has. You look at Indiana. It's the number one team in the country. You told them 2 years ago, you're going to be the number one seed in the playoffs, number one team in the country, just won a Big Ten championship. They probably wouldn't believe you, and that all comes down to coaching, right? Yeah. So now if you can get a proven coach, plus with your NIL now, with the transfer portal, it's basically free agency, right? It's who can sign the best free agents in the offseason now. It's professional sports. So I don't see why there wouldn't be any reason why, they couldn't have some success down the road, building off that national championship.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I just looked up Michigan's schedule for next year.
No, it's tough.
It's
tough.
a pretty tough schedule.
I wanted to say something else, but I forgot this is family friendly, but it's tough.
We appreciate that. So you guys open up against Western, which
Yep.
is that at home now? They didn't.
That is at home. They thankfully moved that one back.
Yeah, the schools that are an hour.
I know
apart.
Germany really wanted to watch those Broncos, but it's
yeah. You are a Bronco alum as well.
I
That's
am,
what's
yes,
funny.
sir.
You don't have Jerry on. You love Kalamazoo, and Jerry does not. So open up against Western, at home against Oklahoma, which
Yep.
we'll see what Oklahoma is past John Mateer. UTEP, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan State, Penn State, UCLA, at Minnesota, at Oregon, at Ohio State, and at Rutgers.
Yeah.
That's
No.
brutal.
It's
Not
tough.
in that order, but
I mean,
that's
no,
just
yeah.
the
I mean, you look at it, you basically have to win 2 of the 4 against Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, and Oklahoma to even have a chance at the playoffs. So I believe you get Indiana at home, you have Oklahoma at home. I mean, as long as Bryce takes these next steps, they can get a good head coach, get the offense going, offense clicking for next season. I think they should beat Oklahoma. The questions is at Oregon, what is Indiana going to look like next season? At Ohio State loses a lot of guys. So it's going to be an interesting season for sure. Like I said, I think I could not have seen Sherrone making another 2 seasons just with these schedules he has and just kind of where he was going. It's been the past 2 seasons his in-game coaching has been very questionable.
I have something else. I have something else.
Let me hear it.
This is from Dan Wetzel. Breaking ex-Michigan coach Sherrone Moore was detained by police in Saline, Michigan this evening and turned over to police in Pittsfield Township for investigation and potential charges, reporting with Pete Thamel. I have no idea what the charges are.
I did. I just got that as well.
Oh my God.
City of Saline Police Department assisted in locating and detaining former University of Michigan football coach Sherrone Moore. Mr. Moore was turned over to Pittsfield Township Police Department for investigation into potential charges.
Interesting.
This is from anybody and everybody. I have no idea what it could be pertained to. It doesn't look like. They may know, but it hasn't came out yet. That just now 8 minutes ago ran fresh and new. So not only has Sherrone Moore been fired for cause from the University of Michigan, he's also been detained by Saline Police Department, which is right outside of Ann Arbor, and Pittsfield Township, where he is now in custody in Pittsfield Township Police Department.
Oh my God.
I mean,
man.
this whole thing goes from, and this is how crazy and how quick this stuff happens. And I've been saying how quick and fast stuff is changing in college football, but we go from, we think Sherrone Moore is fine. That's, we're like, no. To Luke's point, the Michigan inside people thought, we know it, but nothing's going to really come of it. It's nothing. It's all rumors, lies, blah, blah, blah. Then it comes out today he's fired for cause. Well, why was he fired? And what cause? Inappropriate relations with a staff member, per Michigan's athletic department. And so you're like, okay, he's fired. Now Michigan's job open. And now he was arrested and now is being looked at for potential charges of nobody knows what yet. But to Johnson's point, this is a kid's program, but what the F? I mean, this just, Luke, is there anything right now on Michigan Twitter about what it could be about potentially,
So
allegedly?
what I'm seeing is sources in Ann Arbor are telling me that Sherrone Moore has been arrested for breaking and entering into his assistant's house. Authorities were called after claims were made that Moore was showing suicidal behaviors.
Oh my God.
This is all alleged.
Allegedly. Take that. Yeah. This guy is backing it up, saying, "Seen a lot of people not believing me. Please bookmark and circle back when the news breaks. I promise not to say I told you so."
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, this thing it's taken a wild turn.
It has.
Luke, I am now seeing the same thing you are. I don't know how true it is. From
that account had 50 followers, so yeah, I would take that with a grain of salt. But
yeah, I mean, it is crazy times, right? It's every time this stuff just keeps circulating up. I guess there's a few more names that I'll jump out to if like you would entertain it as a coach. We talked about the John Gruden thing. I said you couldn't with the fuzzy pass. Michigan needs somebody that's clean cut at this point. Clearly, maybe even cleaner cut than we thought. They may. I don't even know where you go, how clean cut you can go. But John Gruden, I mean, it's goofy to me.
Yeah, I just I love Gruden. I've always been a Gruden fan, but I don't know if he would work in college, I think he'd be similar to like a Bill Belichick, where it's like, hey, this guy, is a NFL head coach, a lot of success in the NFL. Let's throw him in college and kind of see what he can do. I feel like you're hiring somebody off name value rather than what they can do for your university.
Yeah. Okay. And then the other name is would be goofy if it ever happened, but Brian Kelly. He is out there.
I mean, if you want to guarantee 10 wins every season, Brian might be right? But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say no, right? You know what my opinions are on Brian Kelly, but I think he's. I mean, it would be the equivalent of hiring a James Franklin, right? I think he's gonna win you some games. He's gonna go win 10 games every year. You might sneak into the playoffs every now and then, but is he going to win those big games? Is he going to push you over the edge, or push you over the line to winning a national championship? He couldn't do it at Notre Dame, couldn't do it at LSU, especially coming into this season. Everybody thought, this was LSU's year. This was their year to do it. And
well, with the Brian Kelly stuff, if he couldn't win it at Notre Dame, he probably can't win it at Michigan.
No,
it's the same circumstance. To me, it's the exact same job if you kind of think about it.
No,
you know what I mean?
I agree.
Michigan has more recently won a national title to prove it, but Notre Dame was in. I mean, you know what I mean? It's a very similar job to me.
Yeah, academics. They're both going to have. It's not like the SEC. It's not like LSU. Yeah. I 100% agree.
All right, somebody is bringing on Todd Monken.
Yeah, I mean
that's the answer to that one.
Yeah, that's another time. I mean, because that was former offensive coordinator
at Georgia. Now he's the Ravens offensive coordinator.
Correct. Okay. I mean, if you follow Michigan football, they've had a lot of ties to the Baltimore Ravens, but like I said, I would go with a guy who's proven he's had success in college football already, and that just brings me back to the same two names that I've been saying. So. But I do see what Jonathan was saying, that it could end up being somebody out of left field.
Yeah.
But I right now, it's still so many names circulating. You just kind of have to wait and see. I would bet probably within a week or so we're gonna probably have a better idea of who they're eyeing down. But
it may be sooner than that. I mean,
it could 100%.
Like I said, I think if it's pretty soon. Then it's like, hey, this is our guy. This is what we have. Jonathan's saying he didn't get arrested per ESPN. Dan Wetzel's not going to put his career on the line for Sherrone Moore being arrested. Is my argument here. Everybody's reporting. Pete Thamel works for ESPN. He's reporting it with Dan Wetzel, and they both work for two different companies. So we'll kind of circle back here. So Sherrone Moore's been fired for cause by the University of Michigan, inappropriate relation with a Michigan staff member that violated his contract. I will again read the statement from the University of Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel. head coach Sherrone Moore has been terminated with cause effective immediately following a university investigation. Credible evidence was found that Coach Moore engaged in inappropriate relation with a staff member. This conduct I cannot read right now. It's a clear violation of university policy. The maintains zero tolerance for such behavior. Biff Poggi has been appointed head coach in an interim capacity effective immediately. And now we have reports that Sherrone Moore has been detained by police in Saline, Michigan, just outside Ann Arbor this evening, and turned over to police in Pittsfield Township for investigation into potential charges. That's from Dan Wetzel, everybody big time on 3. Everybody's reporting it. It's been a crazy, crazy day so far. What do you think?
I will say really quick, Jed Fish, he was kind of asked about this. And he said, I would say those lists are made up by, so he's referring to the betting lines for him going. I would say those lists are made by people that have no idea what's going on, honestly. So
he has to,
save face a little bit.
As we know, college football coaches are usually pretty truthful. So.
I don't know. I think Jed Fish is the guy you are. I think you give him the keys to the castle at Michigan, your offense is going to flourish.
Well, and I think that Washington offense is pretty good this year. And imagine if he had, the essentially infinite amount of resources at Michigan.
And defensively, you
well,
can kind of keep Wink Martindale there. I don't think you have to change that much. I mean, you don't like Wink?
I'm not a Wink guy, no.
Okay, here we go.
Nah, that's why I'm hoping whoever they hire just brings in a whole new staff. So
All right. I mean, so creepy photo says CJ Carr's brother coming to ND. Yeah, I mean that everybody knows that. Saline is brought up again. The Saline boys are coming close. Yeah, I mean, this has just been a crazy day, Luke. It's continuing to escalate very, very quickly. I think the other question is last question I have for you before we can let you go, and we can move on to NFL stuff that we were going to talk about. Do you trust Ward Manuel to make the right decision on that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This was a guy who did not want to fire Juwan Howard, and the board basically forced their hand and said, hey, it's going to be either you or it's going to be Juwan. John Beeline was actually the one who talked to Dusty May and said, hey, take this job. This is a great job. This is a great opportunity for you. I mean, there's nothing that Ward Manuel has done at his, tenure at Michigan that would, give me any sort of confidence that he's going to get this right. I'm just hoping the boosters step in here and kind of say, hey, this is Michigan. We're going to go out and we're going to get somebody proven, a proven head coach,
Do they have a president? I know Santa left.
They do, and I couldn't tell you who it is off the top of my head, but they do have a new president, yes.
And then was you may not know this either, but was Ward the one that hired Jim to come back, or
so that no, it was not. It was actually Jim Hackett, who was an interim athletic director. So an interim athletic director has done more for this university than Ward Manuel has done his whole time here. So,
I mean, I would, some would say it'd be easy to bring Jim back.
I would not be against it.
It was the best time. Well, Jim's not going to come back because he's not allowed to coach in college football for ever now at this point. But his brother John may come.
Yeah, you never know. I think you might have to reach out to Connor Stallions too whenever that show.
Maybe there you go.
Show causes for, but
you can bring him back. No, I mean the whole thing is nuts. Luke, we appreciate you coming on as a Michigan fan, getting the perspective of that. I do agree with you. I do like Jedd Fisch more. I like David Shaw. I think it'd be a home run hire. I do. I like that. I think it's a smart hire to make. But I think Jedd Fisch is probably going to end up being the coach, honestly. I think if he left Arizona for Washington, he's going to leave Washington for Michigan. Come on. I mean, you either want to compete against Michigan and say, I could have had that job, or are you going to be Michigan and compete against Washington and beat up on them every year?
Right.
I mean, that's just plain and simple of it. Kalen DeBoer, I think there's a chance. It's going to take a lot. But we'll see. But Luke, we appreciate you coming on here and giving us your perspective, your insider knowledge. Some way you have a lot of insider knowledge, and we appreciate that. And we'd love to have you on again. Maybe when they hire a coach. Well,
absolutely, it'd be a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, man.
And of course is Luke Hoxie.
The one and only. It's the first time I ever spoke to him.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I tried to get him on when you weren't going to be able to come on last week, and I didn't know if Jerry was going to be back. I tried to get him on, and he was
my God.
He was like, I don't know if I'm ready to come on and talk. Well spoken there. Luke.
Yeah, he did great.
It made it seem like he's an actual insider for the university.
We have two spectrums. We got Luke Hoxie, and then we got Riley Mark.
Well, we got to put Sabrina on Luke.
Yeah.
And then he's a cheeseburger.
And then we have Nolan in the middle. He's a cheeseburger. And then we have Riley Mark eating 4,000 calories of McDonald's.
And Jonathan is out there in left field.
Yeah, we don't even know what we're going to get out of him.
Luke Hoxie says wasn't prepared. Caleb, appreciate you, fellas.
He did great, man.
No, you did great. I mean, it was awesome. He gave good insight. He wants Kalen DeBoer as his number one, then Jedd Fisch is number two.
I think that's a great two. I
hated David Shaw. He's this guy. He sits here. I want a proven coach. This is what I want. I lay out a guy who's won 90 games in college football. And he's like, not good enough. Not who? Are you kidding me?
He's got to have some recent talent or success according to Luke. That's an argument to be made.
It's always good stuff. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's always good stuff. I meant when you asked me last week that I wasn't ready. Yeah, he was ready for this one. He knows all about it. The whole Sherrone Moore thing has escalated very, very quickly. Now he is reportedly was arrested.
Yeah, that's great. That's crazy, and everything's. I mean, why he was arrested and all that stuff. That's still up. For those are all just rumors and speculation as of right now.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll say just really quick, we can move on. That people make mistakes. They do dumb stuff, and I just hope the best for him because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he's a guy that gave hundreds of young kids an opportunity to chase their dream, and he was a role model for them. So I hope everything's okay. I hope he can recover from this. From everything I've seen, I like the dude. He's the questionable things when it comes to football, but football is not life. It's
Yeah.
just a part of it. So
Well,
um,
no, I 100% agree with you on that. I'm glad you said that, and I'll say it again, like I said it earlier, is he is a public figure at one of the biggest universities, one of the most premier jobs in the country, being a head football coach for the University of Michigan, um, one of the biggest state employees in the state of Michigan,
yeah,
when you look at it. And at the end of the day, he's in the public eye, yes, but this is somewhat of a private issue that has now been made public. To the average person, this would never get out.
right. I mean, and think
And
about the worst thing you've ever done being put on everybody
yeah,
talking about it.
yeah.
So
So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's one of those things. The way it's gone on is crazy. For him, his family, everything about it is just one of those things that it gets times 100 because of
yeah,
the situation in the public eye that you are in and what could happen to you if something were to happen and how you'd be viewed and all of that. So yeah, I mean, it's just been one of those crazy things, one of those crazy days, and yeah, I'll get on the last comment here. Jonathan, left field. I broke this news between throwing up. No, I mean you're maybe in left field, but you're number one in our heart when it comes to guests. That's a
yeah,
fact.
that's true. That is true.
He was going to break into my house Monday night. He said. All right, we move on from the Michigan story. I know I thought we'd talk about it for 30 minutes. We ended up talking about it for over an hour, which is fine. I'm glad we did because a lot happened. Luke was able to come on. We did that. We'll now talk about NFL stuff. We haven't really talked NFL a whole lot in the last week and a half. And an old NFL quarterback is back, and his name is not Tom Brady. His name is Philip Rivers. He is back in the NFL, signing with the Colts practice squad after Daniel Jones had a broken leg and then tore his Achilles. Riley Leonard, Notre Dame's quarterback, comes in and gets hurt, knee problem, hurt, may not play. AR Anthony Richardson, I guess he has an eye injury.
And then he got in a pregame warm up.
Yep, and then maybe Rippon would maybe be their quarterback. So they bring in a 44-year-old Philip Rivers who has not played in 5 years.
So the thing that what I initially think of is one, you're telling me that there's not a 25-year-old out there somewhere that's a better, more in shape quarterback than Philip Rivers, and two, doesn't it set back his Hall of Fame thing?
Yes, so I'll get into that. So he's currently a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame
for this year.
For this year, I think it's 5 years removed from whenever you retire or you stop playing or whatever. If he were to be put on the active roster, right now he's in the practice squad, he's on the active roster. But I mean, he's wearing number 17. Daniel Jones wore number 17. They've already cut him out. He's wearing a number 70 practice. He's going to be on the active roster. His name is taken out of the Hall of Fame consideration off the ballot, and his time would have to restart from wherever he stopped playing again.
Oh my gosh, man! I mean, you know what? And I'll say this about Philip Rivers. This is just one of the dudes you can get up off the couch and get him ready for an NFL football game, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like his arm strength was a million to begin with.
Yeah, so like Philip Rivers, he's a fiery, competitive dude. He doesn't swear, which is hilarious to watch those mic'd up.
And he's like the biggest trash talker there is.
He is the world's biggest trash talker, but you will not hear a swear word come out of his mouth. He's got 10 kids, and you know what? Like, if there's anybody that has,
I think he also has grandkids.
That's insane. If there's anyone that has the cojones to just get up off the couch and start playing some football, dude, it's Philip. What if he won out and then won a Super Bowl?
I mean,
That would be awesome.
it would be crazy. He, of course, ended in 2020 with the Colts. He has a relationship with Shane Steichen, their offense or their head coach. So, assuming this comes into it all, I'm pretty sure he has a grandchild on top of having children.
Oh my gosh, man. Grandpa, is he the first grandpa to ever play in the NFL?
It's probably close. Yeah, he has 10 children. His youngest son being born in 2023. Um, I don't. He may have grandkids. I don't know if he does. One known grandson.
Oh my lord. So we got unks.
Okay,
got-
so no. Not we have Gramps. Not only here. So his youngest son was born in 2023.
Yes.
His grandchild was born in 2024.
Oh my gosh. So the dude's uncle is a year older than him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Look, I
That
mean,
is
Philip Rivers loves having children. He loves, his kids. His one son I know is looked at as a college prospect for football as a quarterback, and I mean, he's could potentially be. I think he's going to play. You don't
he in high
bring him out of
school?
retirement. Yeah, his son is.
Okay. So okay. Oh, and you're talking about Philip Rivers.
Yeah, but you don't bring Philip Rivers out of retirement. He doesn't come out of retirement.
Yeah, if he's not going to play, and
He's not gonna
also, if you're not expecting to play the person, just grab anybody,
Yeah, no, I
or
think
have your freaking punter go in.
Well, this is the other thing too. The Colts have gone all in. They've gone all in. They started out hot. They went and got Sauce Gardner. They are continuing the all in process here, and they believe Philip Rivers gives them the best chance at 44 years old. Hasn't played in 5 years. If I would have told you a guy hasn't played football in quite some time is coming back, you would have thought it was Tom Brady.
Well,
it's not Tom Brady.
Tom Brady probably can't, right? With being a minority owner of the Raiders.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, he probably can't come back and play for another team. Peyton is definitely done. Eli's definitely done. Yeah,
He's got a whole soccer team. Yeah, no, I mean, so it's crazy. So Philip Rivers is
his
back
kids can play 5-on-5 basketball against each other.
They can, and then the grandson can coach him.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
That's awesome,
it is nuts to have a 44-year-old who hasn't played in 5 years come back in the NFL. But hey, looking like Philip Rivers is potentially going to play for the Colts. It's just a crazy story.
And I will say too, this is on par with the NFL because the NFL, it has not been as crazy as college football, but it's been an insane year. Of the Bears are on top, and then the Eagles are terrible. The Cowboys are just like can beat anyone but also lose to anybody. It's the Ravens are kind of weird, Chiefs are weird, Bills are decent, Patriots are great. Like it's a strange time in the world of football, but it's been a great time. You know what? And when we're in, March, April, May, we're gonna remember these times fondly.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up ChatGPT of like how many, like who else has come out of retirement and then came back. Tom Brady was like 40 days later from coming back. Gronk was 2 years. Marshawn Lynch retired and then came back 2 years later. Randy Moss was 2 years. Brett Favre, of course, did it a couple times. Eric Weddle retired in 2019 and came out of retirement to join the 2022 Rams playoff run. So this is very similar to that.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
Jason Witten retired, then came back. I mean, it's happened before, but
it's interesting. I mean, I think it's really interesting though because a lot of the names you just said, excluding Tom Brady, aren't quarterbacks. And essentially, I know he's got some familiarity with Steichen, but it's like, you got to get yourself adjusted to the offense, to the your receivers, to your running back. It's I mean, like I said, this guy's born ready to go. So I'm sure I don't think I can't wait. I hope he.
My question is, what happens when he gets hit?
He gets up talking crap, dude. We already know how it's gonna go.
That's gonna be.
And then what happens if he just gets injured?
Yeah, I don't know.
He sets back his timeline for what?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
But
it
to
will
be
be
fair, remember this is a guy who played in an AFC playoff game with like
a
two
torn
torn
ACL.
ACLs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes on a Super Bowl run, give that guy the Hall of Fame jacket.
Yeah,
Don't take
I
him
was
off the
saying,
pile.
yeah, just give it to him.
Give it to him. I mean, this is what it's got to happen. So yeah, Philip Rivers is returning after 5 years.
Is
He's on
that
the
why they
practice
do
squad.
it? Is to like ensure that no one actively playing is in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I wonder what would have happened because he's in his first ballot. I assume he wouldn't get in first ballot if Eli Manning didn't get in first ballot.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to see, like, yeah, if you would have been in the Hall of Fame, you would have had to let him. You can't strip the Hall of Fame away.
No,
from him.
no, no, no,
Very
no.
much. So that would have been interesting. But yeah, Philip Rivers is returning to the NFL potentially.
Well, and
in the
also,
practice.
didn't he sign a 1-day contract to retire as a Charger?
I believe so. Yeah. So how does that work?
Yeah, this is crazy.
And then does he sign another one day? I mean, this if he
Yeah,
gets
does
on
he
the
have to go back and do it again?
if he gets on the active roster, it resets his clock. As of right now, he's fine. So we'll wait and see how the injury thing works out for the Colts. But he's not coming back to Indianapolis if he's not playing. Is the way I view it.
I agree.
All right, Trevor. Now we move on to your team. I ran it Sunday, and let you have the floor.
Caleb, it's getting worse.
Yeah, I mean 5 turnovers from your quarterback's pretty bad.
2 in 1 play.
Yeah, he threw an interception, gets the fumble, and then fumbles himself.
It is. I almost want to blame this all on AJ Brown for him throwing a fit in the locker room, and ever since then, this is what it's looked like. I mean, it hasn't been pretty for a lot of the season, but we were getting it done. Like, and when it mattered, we got it figured out. Our defense, again, played phenomenal. I was so happy with our performance on defense. Obviously, every defense is going to have a couple plays that they give up. But I thought we got to Justin Herbert great.
Yeah, how many you guys had? How many sacks? Like 8 or 9 sacks?
Yeah, I think that Cooper DeJean did a great job. He was very good in the secondary. Blankenship was great in some open field tackles. I mean, they are, and that's without Jalen Carter.
Yeah, he is out injured right now.
Yeah, our defense is lights out, dude. I mean, and then our offense is just it's terrible. There are so many Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick offenses that had so much less, but were so much more productive.
Yeah. Kevin Cobb.
Dude, there's Kevin. Nick Foles threw 7 touchdowns against the Raiders in like 2011, bro. Like that offense had maybe Deshaun Jackson, and then like Jeremy Maclin, LaShawn McCoy, and that's about it. Brent Selleck, yeah, Brent Selleck. So it's like we have all of these weapons, and first off, 4 of those are 4 interceptions from Jalen.
Yeah,
1 was his fault. The other 2 of them,
one of them was easily AJ Brown's fault.
Yes, that was the one that he dropped. 3, Devontae Smith slips and he throws a pick. 4, amazing defense by the Chargers. The pick to end the game. I mean, that's one. When my quarterback throws an interception, I'm not like, this dude's terrible. Sometimes you got to go. You got to risk it. Now, last year, Jalen Hurts risked it a little bit too much, specifically in the red zone for my liking. And I think that one, too, was one maybe we're pushing the envelope a little bit too far here.
But last year it worked out.
It did work out. So I don't put all of those on Jalen. And you know what? He's done very well this season at taking care of the ball. So I'm not – I may have posted in the Eagles group chat, bench Jalen Hurts and put in Tanner McKee. And that was after his 2nd interception. So he still had 2 more interceptions and a fumble to do after that. And I just felt so justified in my hatred towards him at the moment. But Saquon did well.
He had a long run.
He had a long touchdown, yeah. I think that's probably his best game of the season easily. But it's out of a funky trick to push. Like, why? I don't understand. I need someone.
Well, the Bears broke the tush push last week.
Yes, they did.
I honestly think that like they had started to lose hope in the tush push
Yeah.
this year, and then when Wright for the Bears came in and stole the ball from him, they
Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah.
They were like this is over. We can't do it anymore. It's not
I'm
as
glad.
effective. It's
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It's not as effective. That's honestly what I think happened with the tush push.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like, you know, it I don't know what's wrong with the run game. I don't know what's wrong. And
Well,
I
I
said
think
this,
Lane Johnson not being there hurts. Jalen
yeah,
Hurts not having as many designed runs or running, and it
I
feels like
agree. So I'm talking specifically about Saquon.
yeah, I think a lot of it has to be the line as well, and maybe some different things. I don't think he lost his step so much
No, he's
last year.
not. He's getting hit in the backfield
Um,
almost every time he gets the ball. He's like Chase Brown before Joe Burrow came back.
I think Saquon last year was a perfect storm. Boom, against that offensive line, it was fairly healthy for the most part. Plug and play anybody in there. If it wasn't, he kind of came out. Everybody's like, "Oh, this is the Saquon Barkley we remember."
Oh, and it was an
Teams are
elite.
teams are keying in on it.
Yeah.
I think Jalen Hurts this year is now they're trying to make him a passer,
Yep.
which I think is the dumbest decision you could ever make. Because now you have now the argument's like Jalen Hurts may be the worst quarterback ever to win a Super Bowl. Coming into the season, that wouldn't even been a thought. Now
No.
there are people that are having that discussion.
Which I think is ludicrous.
It is, but he looks so bad right now that's being a thought.
Well, and the thing is that he's being forced to carry the offense with his arm, and that's never been what. And like you said, there was design runs. There was last year with the run game was phenomenal, and then that was like the cherry on top. Is that every now and then he'd burn you deep to AJ or Devontae Smith, and I get so mad at AJ Brown. Jalen Hurts is getting him the ball, bro. It'll be double coverage, 50 yards downfield. Jalen Hurts is throwing that ball to AJ Brown. Jalen Hurts has so much faith in Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. AJ Brown, I'm about done with. I'm over him, bro. I'm over that dude.
So
you
guys play the Raiders this week. So
that should be a win, but we never know.
That's a get back in here after losing 3 straight. I'm going to say Jalen Hurts numbers, and you're going to be shocked by this.
Yeah.
64% completion percentage.
I don't even know if it was that good or bad.
Yeah, it's like middle. 2,700 passing yards.
That's not very good, right?
No.
Isn't like the 4,000 mark kind of what you're shooting for?
Towards the end of the year, yeah.
Yeah.
4,500. 19 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. You think that's actually not terrible?
19 touchdowns and what? How many?
6 interceptions.
6 interceptions.
4 of them were just this week. So he came in with 2 and now he leaves.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It's not terrible.
He's been sacked 28 times.
Yep. And part of that is the offensive line is but our offensive line is terrible. Like not even just like not blocking people, the amount of false starts or holding penalties, it's exhausting. It's so infuriating to watch because every good play that we have gets called back because someone on our offensive line is holding, and it's every single one of them. It's not like, our new right guard who is taking over, or I can't remember if right guard, left guard, but the guy that's taking over from Mekhi Becton, he's playing really, I'm pretty sure he's right guard. He's playing really good. He's playing really well. So you can't sit there and blame it on this guy. Jordan Mailata is not doing anything close to what he did last year. Obviously, we missed Lane Johnson, but Lane Johnson wasn't 100% one time this year. So it's.
So I have his stats, Jalen Hurts stats compared to last year.
Mm-hmm. At the same time, or?
Well, no, but it is interesting to look at it. So 2024, he played in 15 games, started in 15 games. He had 361 pass attempts all of last year. This year so far,
360?
361. This year so far, through 13 games, he has 382.
Yeah, I could, yep.
His completion percentage is down 4%. Passing yards last year were 2,903. So far this year, 2,754. Last year, he had 18 total passing touchdowns, 19 this year. 5 picks all of last year, 6 so far this year. Now these numbers, if you look at them, you're like, whoa, these numbers were like what? But he did throw for 3,800 yards in 2023 and 3,700 yards in 2022. So it's not like, these are crazy outlier numbers when it comes to
Yeah.
passing. He also had 538 attempts passing, but I would make the argument 2023, that's when you guys collapsed, right?
2023.
The year after the Super Bowl, you guys went to the Super Bowl, you guys
Yeah.
collapsed, and then you guys
Yeah.
bounced back last year.
Yep.
So the more he throws, the worse it is for your team.
But I think too that that might go with any quarterback too, though.
Yeah.
It's
No,
like if
I
you're
know.
throwing the ball a lot, then you're probably down a majority of your games, which we kind of have been.
This is the one that's very interesting, though. Rushing, though.
Yeah. I'm interested
So
to hear this.
rushing attempts all of last year at 150. This year so far, 88.
Okay.
And he played 15
That's
games
not,
last year,
that's barely half.
but he played 15 games last year
Right.
compared to 13. he's played so far
13,
this
yeah, and he's barely half.
Rushing yards was 630 last year, 337 this year.
Yeah.
8 rush touchdowns to 14 last year.
Yeah.
And previous years, 2023, he had 600 rush yards. 2022, he had 760 rushing yards. And 2021, he had 784. And his attempts were 139, 165, 157, 150. He has yet to break 100 so far this year. And he's played 13 games. And he's played 15 games 3 times in his career. So usually by this time, he is well past the attempt.
Well, and I think too, it's so evident that something needs to change with play calling. It couldn't be more obvious.
Yeah.
And I saw LaShawn McCoy today. Or I don't know if he said it today, but I saw it today that he said he wants out of the Eagles Hall of Fame if they don't do something about Kevin Sulo, which I thought was awesome. And
well,
it's bad. I mean, it's bad. And then you see, I mean, like the Lions offense before Dan Campbell took over, it wasn't that bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't Eagles level bad. Exactly.
That's where you blame Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
He's now. Yeah. I watched Dan Patrick at Sal Paolantonio on last week, and he was talking about, he's like, Nick Sirianni just got into the office to help the offense last week. Just last week, you've had these problems for over a month and a half, and you're now just getting to it. It's Nick Sirianni's job at this point is on the line.
I agree. And you know what's so funny is that, and this isn't the first time we've seen this kind of collapse out of the Eagles, like you just reminded us.
Yeah.
That this is something that Nick Sirianni has done before. And I think he might be one of the few coaches with a winning record, a significantly, pretty good winning record, to be fired because of their performance.
Yeah, I'm looking up what Doug Peterson was for his head coaching record. He was 42-31 with the Eagles. Of course, after he won the Super Bowl, he went 9-7, 9-7, 4-11. So he was going to get fired probably regardless. But still, he had won a Super Bowl. So it's similar pastures. We'll see. They play the Raiders this week. I think they finished fairly easy schedule wise.
We got the Commanders twice still. We got to play the Bills.
So they have I think a 2-game lead on the Cowboys in the division. So win 2 more games and you pretty much have won the division. So they play the Raiders this week, Commanders,
Bills, Commanders
at the Bills, and then Commanders at home again.
Freaking nightmare, dude! I might not be able to watch that game.
Well, we'll see. You never know with the Bills defense. It could help you out there. But
Eagles. Is it on a Sunday? Is it like it's going to be snowing? It's going to be snowing
Sunday at 4:25.
Although the Eagles do pretty well in like the Snow Bowl. So
historically, you never know.
Yeah.
But they lose third straight. I wanted to give you the floor on that. That is your team. So
I appreciate it. I feel better now.
All right, Chiefs. They are 6-7 right now. 6-7. Outside looking in. I just quickly before we get to the NFL playoffs as a whole, like, are you shocked by this, or like kind of what are your thoughts on the Chiefs so far?
Am I shocked? No, but I'm shocked. I'm not shocked because 6-7. I'm not shocked because it's time for some of these things to move on. like Travis Kelce, he's this. I
His
mean,
career's done.
he's
career's
done.
done. His career's
He's
done.
holding on to by a thread right now. Patrick Mahomes is like might be 30 right now, or isn't even 30 yet. So I have complete faith on him playing at a very high level. I probably for another 10 years, I'd say. Um, they need to have. I feel like too. Like again, there's defensive players who have been around for all these Super Bowls, and they're getting up there. Not everyone is aging like Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. And I think too, I like Rashi Rice, I really do. But sometimes it's like they need someone else. They need a Rashi Rice and someone, which is because all those years it was Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce.
Yeah. Well,
Travis
Xavier
Kelce isn't there
Worthy.
anymore.
Xavier Worthy
Yeah,
hasn't fully worked out, I think, like they thought.
yeah,
It's just a. I mean, they're older. Chris Jones isn't as good. The defense isn't as good. Patrick Mahomes is still great. I mean, this
yeah.
guy's doing
Andy
everything he
Reid is
can.
still great.
Andy Reid is not the problem. I mean, people will say it was the problem in Philadelphia. Clearly, it wasn't the
No.
problem.
Yeah.
Look at what he's done in Kansas City. I think it's a couple things. Spags maybe he's lost his fastball. Maybe some teams are starting to figure out Spags a little bit more. They're still low scoring games, but it was always what's Spags going to dial up here.
Yeah.
Well, Spags hasn't been dialing much up this year. So it's the offensive line has not been great. I'm telling you, getting rid of Joe Tooney was maybe one of the dumbest things they ever did. I get Joe Tooney's older, and I get you couldn't pay him and all this other stuff. You should have found a way to pay Joe Tooney. Everywhere that guy goes, he's a winner.
Yeah.
3 Super Bowls in New England, 3 Super Bowls, I want to say, with the Chiefs. I mean, he's not the only reason the Bears have been turned around, but he's been probably a big help for the Bears, especially on the offensive line.
Yeah.
Joe Tooney, you get rid of that guy? Are you kidding me? Like, that's about the dumbest thing you could ever.
He's like the goose that pops out golden eggs.
He's a winner. He helps you, and you can't tell me their offensive line's not hurting because you lose him. I mean, it's got to be. I don't know. I forget who said it. I wish I would have remembered it now because someone like a month ago said, well, I think this Chiefs team is maybe better than last year's team. Just everybody else is better. Dumbest thing I've ever been said.
Yeah, that's not true.
They're not as good in 1-score games. That's the thing that's hurt them. But also, the Chargers are creeping up. The Broncos have crept up. The Patriots are better. You lose to the Jaguars. Usually that's a game you look at and they win. It's just everything this year. I don't know if it's the end, but it's going to be one of those down years for them. And they're not going to win the division. I think they're mathematically eliminated from that. But it's just one of those things where you look at them and you're like, oh my God. And they play the Chargers this week. It's in Kansas City, which helps them. They're a 5.5-point favorite, which is baffling. Then they play the Titans. Then they have the Broncos in Kansas City, and then the Raiders at home. So, I mean, they could easily go 2-2 in this thing, and they're 8-9. I foresee them finishing above 500. I just kind of think that. But to lose to the Texans, to lose to the Cowboys, to only beat the Colts by 3. I mean, you lose to the Bills. You lose to the Jags. I mean, you lose to the Eagles.
But I mean, isn't this also? I mean, kind of refreshing.
It is. It's just shocking. I think because
I agree.
It's like, and Mahomes will always be compared to Tom Brady or any quarterback that comes about. We all just thought they would all just always consistently be good, like the Patriots. They were always just consistently good.
Yeah.
I think the Patriots may have missed the playoffs one time with Tom Brady, and that was super early on.
Right.
And I think they were still 500, maybe. I could be wrong on that. So I think we're just so used to being like, oh no, they're going to be here consistently, or they'll consistently win the division, or be in the playoffs, or it's always like, hey, get them in the playoffs. You never know. Well, they may not even make the playoffs. So I think that's the biggest thing is like, we just expected this dynasty to continue on forever or until Patrick Mahomes retired. And that just hasn't been the case.
Yeah, I am shocked. I will say I am shocked that it's at this level, where it's potentially, I kind of expect, a get back from the Bills in the playoffs or something, where Josh Allen finally gets one over on Patrick Mahomes. But Like you said, they might finish above 500. Weird stuff could happen in the
Yeah.
AFC, and they might find a way to get in. I don't know. It's like starting to be that time though, where it's like we got to start moving in the right
Yeah.
direction.
Well, and you never 9-8 may not make the playoffs in the
Yeah.
AFC. I mean,
Yep.
we don't know. I mean, the way you look at it, it's just like I said. I think it's one of those things where we just expected this will be like Brady and Belichick, where it's just like, nope, they're going to win as long as Patrick Mahomes is there. They're going to be great. And now it's like there's some kinks in the armor a little bit when you look at it. So I mean, that just shows how hard it is to win in the NFL consistently.
Yep.
And it just puts another notch in the cap of Brady Belichick of like, you guys
Yeah.
were able to do that for 20 years
Yeah.
consistently. So it's very interesting. All right. NFL playoff picture. This is what it kind of looks like right now, which is crazy. So on the AFC side, Denver is 1 at 11-2. New England's 2 at 11-2 as of right now. They would play Houston, who's the 7th seed at 8-5, who probably has the best defense in the NFL. There's no question about that. And then the 3 seed is the Jaguars at 9-4. They would play the Buffalo Bills, who are also 9-4. And then we have, the old Pittsburgh Steelers. They're right back in there as leading their division at 7-6. As of right now, they would play the Chargers, who are 9-4. AFC is very tough. I mean, the Colts are out right now at 8-5. Baltimore 6-7. Kansas City 6-7. The Dolphins are 6-7. We thought Mike McDaniels was going to be fired years ago. We got a lot of 6-7 going on here. He's still there kicking, and they have a chance to finish above 500.
I kind of just noticed that today. I was kind of taking a peek at some of the standings and stuff, and I was like, wow, the Dolphins have really picked it up.
Yeah, and they finished with the Steelers, Bengals, Bucks, and Patriots. So it's a pretty tough road, but you never know.
Yep.
They've surprised us here on out. So that's what it looks like on the AFC side right now. On the NFC side, the Rams are the number 1 seed. This changed a lot just this past weekend. Rams are number 1 at 10-3. Packers are 2 at 9-3-1. As of right now, they would take on the Bears again at 9-4. Bears and Packers play again in 2 weeks. So we'll see there. The number 3 seed as of right now is the Philadelphia Eagles at 8-5. They would take on the 49ers, who are 9-4. And then 4, as of right now, Tampa Bay is still in the playoffs at 7-6, coming off that loss to the Saints. Yeah. And then as of right now, they would take on the Seahawks, who are 10-3. The Seahawks are a very dangerous team. I think they play the Rams in a week or two, and that could really. So they play the Lions this week, or no, that's the Rams. The Rams play the Lions, Seahawks,
that'll be a good
Falcons,
game.
And Cardinals. And now I'm going to the Seahawks here. Seahawks play the Colts this week, and then they take on the Rams, and then the Panthers and 49ers. So a game in 2 weeks for the Rams Seahawks could mean not only the division, but number 1 seed in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, the AFC is a freaking battle.
Yeah. So the outside looking in real quick for the NFC, the Lions are 8-5. They still have to play the Bears to end the season. The Panthers are in there, and they could still win the division. They're 9 right now at 7-6, and then of course you have the Cowboys at 6-1.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot of faith. I mean, so probably best case scenario, most realistic scenario, the Eagles beat the Commanders twice, beat the Raiders, and lose to the Bills. That's what I'm going to say probably happens.
Yeah.
Or that would be good if that happened, and I think it's the most. I don't think we'll go 4-0. We'll either split with the Commanders, we'll lose a weird game to them, and then maybe beat the Bills, and which would be the craziest thing ever, and then beat the Raiders. I don't really see a world where we lose to the Raiders. I'm going to knock on wood right freaking now, though, because the way we can lose to anybody right now.
Yeah.
This collapse could very much resemble the one that we looked at and, we just talked about in 2023 where we lost like 7 games straight. So we could very easily lose to the Raiders, I don't see us losing to the Commanders twice, maybe once. I don't really see it happening twice. And that might just be good enough. The Cowboys they're a dangerous team, man. They can beat anybody and they can lose to anybody. So we'll see. The Bears, Packers, I think that's a really interesting matchup. That probably won't happen though, right? Because they still have to play each
Yeah,
other
I
one
mean,
more time.
it'll still flip flop.
Yeah,
It's one of those things. The Bears play the Browns this week. Hopefully, we can get past the Browns, and then we play the
I see.
Packers. I forget who we play. Oh, we still have to play the 49ers, and we have to play the Lions. So we still have a tough schedule down
Yeah.
the road.
I haven't gotten to talk to you. About the Lambo thing. How was that?
Yeah, it was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Lambeau is legit awesome. It
Yeah.
is sweet. So yeah, we went in Friday night. Kind of got the lay of the land. Saturday went around to get some cheese curds out at
We got to.
out at a cheese factory out in the middle of nowhere in Green Bay. Then we went to it's called Uncle Mike's Bakery. Get something called Crinkle. Never even
Yeah.
heard of it. So that was easy, so that was awesome. And then we went to Lambeau. They have like an atrium thing connected to the stadium with like a pro shop. You can do the tour of the field. So we got to go on the field and through the tunnel. And then the seats we had, they're like season ticket seats, but it's not a suite, but it's pretty close to it. Like you go in to a separate entrance, you go up an elevator, you're inside the entire way to your seats, and like everything, like concessions, restrooms, bars, everything's inside. So you can leave to go outside into inside. And then there's also these like cutout areas where it's like you're in a suite where you could stay inside if you wanted to.
Wow.
But with our tickets, we could go up to the rooftop and you get to watch the flyover. So the flyover comes like right over top of you and you're over top of the stadium.
Oh my gosh. Did you do that?
Yeah, no, we did that.
Oh, was that crazy?
It was awesome, dude. So we watched the runouts from up top, the national anthem, all of it. We watched the opening kick from up top, the flyover, all of it was, and then you went back down to your seats. It was awesome. And the seats we were in, Lambeau is kind of like Notre Dame they have the bleachers, but the seats we were in, they were chairs. So it was like actually having a nice chair. It was nice.
Yeah.
No, it was a great experience. It was a really cool city. It is actually out in the middle of nowhere. It was awesome. I mean, Green Bay people are super nice. Like there wasn't a whole lot of like, like when we walked out, there was not a whole lot of like, hey, we hate the Bears or screw you. There was none of that. Super nice people. It wasn't like I was going to Philly.
Right.
But no, it was awesome. It was an experience. Everybody should do it at least once.
I bet that softened the sting a little bit. I know you want the Bears to win, but
that did help, right? Like if that would have been like my 20th time going to Bears Packers and we lost, probably. But yeah, I mean it was just a cool experience. And the Bears played really good in the second half. Caleb was abysmal in the first half, 4 for 11, and then he turned it on. He looked like what he should look like. And so it gave me hope to be like, we have a quarterback. Who's really good. We fought in that game. The fourth down play just didn't work out. My issue with that fourth down play is it's the same play we ran against the Eagles for Cole Kmet to score. Right. Why are we running the same? So that was my problem with it. That play happened like right in the corner of the end zone I was in.
Wow.
So I watched it right on me. But no, I mean, we still a lot to look forward to for the Bears and still a good team. I mean, we're playing the Packers. They're good. I think the Packers could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree.
So to be able to come back on them and make it a game and make every fan in there nervous.
Yeah.
It felt pretty good.
And if you split with the Packers, that's a great season.
Yeah. No.
So
no, but it was an awesome experience. It was super cool. The house we stayed in was awesome. So no, it was a great experience. Now my experience would probably be different than most because I was with somewhat locals.
Yeah.
That go up there very often for season ticket holders. But no, it was cool. It was one of those experiences that it's like, yeah, you have to do it at least once, and no, you can't beat it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No, so it was super cool. All right, as we wrap this up here, I will go back to our top story of the day. I don't think anything has changed much.
Yeah,
I've been kind of looking, but the big story of the day, we kind of thought this show today wasn't going to be very long. We'd come in and talk mostly NFL, kind of get it done. So Sherrone Moore was fired for cause from the University of Michigan after an inappropriate relationship with a Michigan staff member that violated his contract. Athletic Director Ward Manuel had this statement: head coach Sherrone Moore has been terminated with cause effective immediately. Following a university investigation, credible evidence was found that Coach Moore engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. This conduct is a clear violation of university policy, and maintains zero tolerance for such behavior Biff Poggi has been appointed head football coach in an interim capacity effective immediately. And then we've had since come out, Dan Wetzel, Pete Famel have reported this. The city of Saline Police Department are assisted in locating and detaining former University of Michigan football coach Sherrone Moore. Mr. Moore was taken over to the Pittsfield Township Police Department for investigation and potential charges. So
Yeah, the yeah, I mean, like we said, we hope everything's all right with him. Some of the rumors and stuff that we heard, the alleged things didn't sound great. Yeah, but like locating that sounds like committed a crime probably, and then the cops had to go chase him down or whatever. So
no, I mean it's like I said, you started the day with like he's still the coach, and then I get a call from Jonathan, be like he's fired. I'm like you're lying. He's fired. Then you're like, why is he fired? Then he's fired for cause. Well, what was the cause? Inappropriate relationship with a staff member, and then you're like, okay, so he's gone because of that. You hear the rumors surrounding that, and then we're doing the show, and he's been arrested.
yeah.
I mean, it is just the great. We'll get into some comments real quickly before we end this thing. Thought they mailed Tucker to him, but yeah, I mean, it's a little different. Great show. Yeah, we appreciate
Thanks, Nolan.
it. PJ Fleck. I didn't think about
That'd be
PJ
interesting.
Fleck.
Yeah.
Be very interesting. Charges pending too. Yeah, this guy's clearly an Ohio guy. OH. Here he is. Cole value still 2-1 versus you. I think he's
he was
talking to
talking-
the
yeah.
Ohio guy. Pure Michigan, man. Yeah. I mean, it is pure Michigan. I would argue the greatest state in the United States.
Yeah.
I'm not a Michigan fan, but I am a fan of the state of Michigan.
Great state.
Yeah, it's the greatest state in the United States.
Yeah.
This guy, Jim Chance. These guys are going at it now in the comments. Ohio and Michigan, they can never stop. But yeah, I mean, crazy day. Crazy day. We'll find out more for our show Sunday, or unless anything's too pressing, we may come on here and do this again sometime.
Yeah.
I mean, if it gets to be something crazy, we will probably come back on. Be tomorrow. But as of right now, yeah, I mean, that's where we're at. Michigan is now out of the crazy coaching carousel. It's now an open job.
Yeah. This is crazy, man.
Who would have thought? I mean, it is one of the most premier jobs in the country, and it's now open, and I'm pretty sure they're going to move pretty swiftly. There's some big names.
Yep.
We'll just kind of wait and see kind of what happens and what direction they go in. But, yeah, I mean, it's been one of those days. I mean, this is the turntable keeps on turning.
Yeah, it does.
And look at us now. But we appreciate everybody that's been in here watching, commenting. Make sure you like, subscribe. I hate saying that. It's
it's good. It's good.
We'll chop it up, and we'll have shorts out on Instagram and on YouTube. And we'll be back Sunday with Jerry. For sure, we will be back Sunday with Jerry around 6:37ish. We'll break down some things. The Sherrone thing. We'll get Jerry's opinion on that and kind of the involvement.
Were we supposed to do an Army Navy game? I go Navy. I pick Navy.
I mean, I'm kind of torn on this because Notre Dame always plays Navy, but my buddy Jonathan is an Army guy. I'm going to go with Army.
Okay, there we go.
So, yeah, we were supposed to do that, and this is the stuff that's picked up.
Yeah.
But no, we'll be back for sure Sunday. It'll be me, Trevor, and Jerry breaking down more on the Sherrone Moore thing as we get more details into it. And see if Michigan has a coach by then. Who knows? It could move that quickly.
Yeah.
And then for surely break down NFL Week 15, I think it is.
Yep.
Just the ever turning. But, so we'll be back Sunday. But as always, thanks for watching.
Peace.